Throughout my years playing through the Kingdom Hearts franchise, I've had a blast while playing as different characters throughout the series. Very few have had as significant of an impact while being playable like Sora has, but some characters that will come close for me would be characters like Riku and Aqua. We've technically been able to play as a lot of characters in the Kingdom Hearts series. Actually, most characters if you count Days multiplayer mode, where you can get your fill of just about any character from the organization. Even characters like the one this video is about. Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind fulfilled many fans' wishes of seeing Kairi in a playable role, and it was gorgeous. However, I've made countless videos regarding Kairi in a playable role, and I'm probably going to make even more later. Today though, I want to talk about a character who I believe would be so fun if put in a position like that in a numbered title or a title of her own. That character is one of my personal favorites in the entire franchise, and that is Xion. When you ask most people about the Days trio, Xion isn't the first name that pops up. Unless you're talking to me. Xion, I believe, could have some of the most interesting combat imaginable. I don't know what the premise of a playable Xion game would or should be like, but I think a simple route to go would be a story about her finding her place in the world now that she is her own person. Yes, she has her friends in Twilight Town, but what about beyond that? Who is she? What is she like? What does she like to do? Does she want to live that hero life that Sora and Riku kind of are? Or does she want to chill and relax a little bit? During this situation going on with Sora, perhaps she could tag along with one of the other Guardians on a trip to some other worlds, investigating or doing whatever they decide to do. It'd be interesting as well to see her interact once more with some old Disney buddies her and Roxas were investigating or met back in Days. While her connection to Sora runs deep, that's not just who she is anymore. A self-fulfilling journey perhaps could be something that makes her stand out even more to the rest of the fan base. After returning in Kingdom Hearts 3, where her main arc is pretty much wrapped up. What about her gameplay though? What could that be like? What should that be like? Well, perhaps Xion, similar to what we saw during Remind and throughout Days, she integrates some of her own powers with the powers of others. This quite possibly not being the best fit for her though, considering her role as a puppet, quote, is over for the organization who sucks the power away from others. Though I think if expanded upon and edited, could make for a really unique style of combat. They don't ever elaborate much on Xion's little copy ability or style when it comes to combat, but it is something that has been seen in both Days and in Kingdom Hearts 3. Let's expand upon this though. Perhaps Xion has a style of combat where she can utilize any ability from certain enemies. Perhaps when she encounters nobodies, if they're for some reason still around, but just as an example, she becomes more nimble, agile, maybe gets a reversal command similar to Roxas. Even adding on top of that, let's stack it and say if she fights a specific type of nobody, she can take its abilities. Same thing would go for more common enemies like Heartless as well. Her appearance doesn't have to change much, but maybe a slight effect added to her Keyblade. This could be one of her go-to situation commands while she's in combat. Depending on the type of Heartless, whether it's a more aggressive Heartless like a Neo Shadow or a boss like Dark Inferno, she gets something that represents more power. When she's fighting a Heartless that's fast and moving around a lot, she becomes more speedy and her attacks become way faster. They could expand on an idea like this and make this boss exclusive as well, doing boss exclusive type abilities. For example, let's say she's fighting someone like Young Xehanort, or just hypothetically. During this boss fight, after getting a couple of combos in or reaching some certain requirement needed to get these abilities, she can get Xehanort's time stop ability or like a whip attack, or maybe the ability to like duplicate herself or something and attack from multiple angles. These are just fun ideas that I think can make every single fight unique, and you can approach these fights in a different way because of that. Maybe even having the ability to bring other abilities from previous fights into these ones. There could be some sort of growth ability system to it similar to Kingdom Hearts 2 with drive forms, and it could be something really cool. Integrate this sort of mechanic into our base combat with every form and you have yourself an extremely versatile Keyblade wielder with gameplay that changes with every single encounter. This is something Xion already represents in both her final fight in Days, where she uses a lot of moves often seen in Sora's limit form, or in Kingdom Hearts 3's base game fight with Saïx and her, and she's using both Saïx's Berserk mode attacks while also her own. Even in the Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind Data fight, she's using light beams similar to Roxas in Kingdom Hearts 2, but on a completely different and greater level. Xion on paper has shown mastery over the Keyblade like very few have, which makes sense considering her original purpose was to copy Sora, who is, as far as we know, one of the best to ever wielded, even receiving praise from Master Xehanort himself, even after being captured. Though, I'm no game designer. They don't have to do these things or even consider them. These are just thoughts and ideas I have based on what I've seen from Xion that would make gameplay with her just super fun. I think it's pretty unlikely for Xion to get a full playable game. Even a tiny playable segment I think is a little unlikely as well, because there's so many characters that already have some decently major things lined up for them. Kairi is training with Aqua, and she probably needs the attention the most. Riku is in Quadratum and is probably going to be boxing Yozora. Roxas doesn't have anything specific either, but it's Roxas. He's a well-known fan favorite who has been playable numerous times already. Roxas being a playable character is like a game seller for most people. Then we have Aqua and the rest of the Birth by Sleep trio, who are probably going to be majorly involved in the next arc. When you factor in Ventus's past, Aqua training Kairi while also wielding the Master Defender, which Brain and Eric has both wielded, a Keyblade passed down for generations, and Terra kind of just existing, I guess. He also is one of those characters that doesn't have a specific role, but I feel like he doesn't need to have anything super specific, because by association with the other two, and them two having major roles, I think he's going to end up being involved in some way, shape, or form regardless. Axel and Saïx have stuff also that will likely be tied into Subject X. Oh, and then there's also Mickey and Scala at Kylum, so there's that. Xion, from that perspective, just one of the last characters I feel like they'd pick for a playable role. However, they do like to surprise us, and maybe they will. Xion doesn't need to be in a major role to be one of my favorite characters, because she already is without it. This video is just for fun, to have fun conversations about what if Xion was a playable character. I would of course go absolutely nuts if I saw a playable Xion. That would make my entire day. However, it's nothing I'm actively anticipating or anything. It's just an idea to throw out there, something cool to discuss or talk about. But I do hope she has some sort of major role going forward, whether it's a playable role or a decent role in the story. I still want to see Xion in the upcoming Kingdom Hearts games, especially since she got her new outfit and everything. But I'm not too worried about that, because I'm confident that most Kingdom Hearts characters that we just saved will have some sort of role in the future. But that will about do it for today's video. Let me know what you guys think about this idea for a playable Xion game. Would you want it? Do you think it'd be a cool idea? Let me know down below. If you guys enjoyed, you already know what to do. Leave a like, share the video with a friend or family member, and last but not least, if you have not already and want to become a part of the union, all you have to do is hit that red subscribe button down below. My name is Prodigy, and I will talk to you guys soon. Peace out, you guys. Bye.